Today, we are sitting down with the new voice of Cats and Dogs. George Lopez has been replaced by Ralph Barbosa. Cats and Dogs 4. Ralph is the new, I'm assuming it's Chihuahua. Maybe it's a different dog. I'm not exactly certain. Ralph, why are you stirring up so much shit with the OGs, man?
La Raza, why are you doing that, dude?
Yeah. Pocos pero locos, way.
There's this like, oh my God. This is like saying like a Mexican's worst enemy is another Mexican.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it's true. I don't like these Mexicans.
Wait a minute.
Bro, we agree on so much, bro. We agree. Come on, bro. Come on.
Okay, listen, obviously there's this beef everybody's going around. I don't even know if it's beef.
I don't think so.
Nah, this shit's
I thought it was fine.
Nah.
Thought it was fine for real? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you did put a video out where you were killing him.
Yeah. I put out the edited version. I have a director's cut.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny because I like that movie, like Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
And I like the thought of like taking out the old dudes. But the reason that I put that video up was because I just started being on the road, and so every now and then somebody will be like, "You're the next George Lopez." Even before this George Lopez thing, my response was already like, "Yo, fuck George Lopez."
Oh, really?
Whenever somebody would yell that from the audience, or any Latino comedian they'd throw out, whoever their idols were, I was like, "Fuck your idols." But when that thing came out, I was just like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is like what I've been saying."
Yeah.
was that a real sentiment, or just I'm trying to get a laugh on stage when they say it? Or was your brain really like, yo, I'm coming for it. Fuck all these guys.
Nah, I wasn't really like coming for them. It's just that when they would name them, I'm like, I don't know, like.
Sometimes it's just a funny thing to say on stage.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to
Fuck that
say.
guy.
I just think it's funny that they're just like assuming I like looked up to George Lopez.
That's
or
the
something.
thing I wanted to ask you when you came up, because you're 26.
Yeah,
I'm 39.
yeah,
And I felt I was young when I was watching George Lopez.
yeah.
So,
I wasn't watching.
I don't
them.
think you ever grew up watching him.
Even when I was watching them, I was like, I don't get it.
Oh, come on. Nah, that motherfucker's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hate, bro. That's hate, bro.
It was good. That was good hate. You got to give it up for good hate.
That's hate.
Yo, watch, you got your chain on your.
I like that.
Wait, you
Yeah,
didn't think he was funny?
I like, yeah, he's funny, but I didn't think he was like. I'm not like gonna like, yo, man, I want to watch this George Lopez like special, or like, oh, the fucking show's gonna come on. Like, I would hear people quote him all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I gotta see that one day. And then when I did
can't breathe.
see it, I'm like, yeah, it's
I
like,
can't breathe. That was so funny.
My chest.
yeah, like that. I don't know.
Next level, hey, I love
Comedy, now this is what it is. It's like comedy, you need comedy within the context of time, because this is how I felt about Pryor, because I saw Eddie first. So everybody would tell me, oh my God, Pryor's the truth. He's the greatest ever. And I grew up on Eddie. So when I saw Pryor, I was like, nah, he's not fucking with Eddie.
Yeah, I feel that.
This feels like, I know it's like blasphemy to almost say, this feels like a less funny version of this guy who is the king
Yeah,
for
comedy
me.
evolves with time.
So you're coming up, and also comedy's changing. Like, I imagine when George was putting out that first special, this is the first time Mexicans are seeing a guy relate and share their experiences in a comedic way, especially on fucking HBO. So they're seeing other guys, they're seeing Rock, they're seeing Carlin, they're seeing all these other dudes, and finally it's like, oh shit, yeah, he's talking that thing that I've experienced. Whereas you're watching it and you've seen all these jokes played out for 20 or 30 years by different people, different versions. So if you go back to it, you go, yo, there's better versions of all these takes.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I
Like
wasn't like huge into stand-up growing up though. Like,
Yeah.
and if I was watching stand-up, I was watching whoever came on TV around that time.
Yeah.
So it was like Comedy Central. So it was a lot of like Chappelle's thing, or like Patrice O'Neal's like special, like reruns of their like type of stuff, or clips or whatever. And by the time I did see like a George Lopez clip or something like that, I just remember he kept saying like stuff like, Latinos, you know us. And I like, that was like the corniest line in the world to me. For anybody to say like, you know us, man. Like, we get down. Or like, it was just like, I don't know, I couldn't get into it.
To his point.
So not saying it's not funny, I just couldn't get into it.
Yo,
like,
I'm George Lopez side now. Fuck these young kids, bro.
No, but this is
And George does say that in the podcast.
I started. It's almost like when young dudes look at the rap OGs, and the rap seems so simple. And
Yeah.
they're just a hip hop, a hip it.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're just like, what the
That's
fuck
what
are
I'm
you
watching.
doing?
Yeah, that's what it feels like I'm watching George.
Yes,
yeah.
but at the time, that Dr. Seuss shit was fire.
I bet.
You
I
know what
bet.
I mean?
Yeah. Not to say he's not funny. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's funny as fuck. It's
Yeah.
just like I'm not gonna watch him.
To his
Yeah.
point, you were like 3 when the George Lopez show came on the air. You were like 5 or 6 when the special came out.
Yeah.
So that thing back then, to his point, it's like when Indians, when we saw Russell, I'm old enough to like see the beginning. I really felt exactly like what he said. Like, yo, we've never heard anybody talking to us. Holy fuck, I'm so happy. This is so funny. Young kids coming up now watching that are gonna be like, yo, there's 100 Indian comics. This one, he's doing this simple thing. It's like, no, back then, that was it. That was the only thing.
Yeah.
And George, back then, nobody was talking to them. So
Like
you're
George
watching
was
this
a
15,
Mexican
16.
comedian. You're
Yeah.
a comedian that's Mexican.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you needed a Mexican comedian.
So that I could be a comedian that's Mexican.
Yes.
All right.
You know, because you're not going up there like, I got to tell you everything about being Mexican today. You ready?
Yeah.
Somebody
You know-
already told him.
You know us Mexicans. man.
Yeah. Now I do actually. Now I do. After George Lopez, now I get it.
That's why you don't have to, because now we know. Dead ass. We're like, we know Mexicans now because George
Right.
Lopez taught us.
Nah. He's like nice. I'm telling you, the dude called me after that whole thing. He said whatever. I wasn't mad when he said it.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm telling you, like I have like a whole lot of respect for him still. I'm not when he said it, I'm not like, what the fuck, like hurt about it. But I also wasn't like, oh yeah, who cares? It just was like, it's a fucking podcast. You're talking shit. Like,
Yeah.
So what if he said it? You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know me, so like it's his.
He knows you, my boy.
But it's his podcast. Like
You don't say I don't know somebody 5 times unless you know.
Yeah, let you know. But yeah, he called me and he was like super cool. I was kind of like starstruck by it, to be honest, because I wasn't expecting it. But,
How did he call it? Was he like no. Tell me about the call. What
he
happened?
was just like, he's like, hey, Ralph, this is George, man, George Lopez. I was like, I wanted to call and apologize. And my first words was like, what the fuck? And I was like, my bad, man. I didn't mean to be like rude or nothing. It's just like, damn, it kind of caught me off guard, you know, that he's even calling me. And he was just like, yeah, man. He's like, I was kind of like in the heat of the moment where they're just kind of shooting the shit with Trevino and kind of fired up about it. But I didn't mean to like talk badly about you or anything like that. Like just kind of talking shit, you know? Like, but I apologize. I was like, you didn't have to, man. I was like, I appreciate that a lot. Like, you really didn't have to, you know? It's not like bugging me like that. He was like, no. He's like, I did. I had to, whatever. He's like,
That's decent, though, that he didn't do a public apology.
yeah, I wouldn't have. I don't think it had to be public at all. A lot of people online were like, "It's fucking, you slander him in public, you apologize in public." Like, nah, bro. Like, then it would have looked like he's just doing it
For
the
them,
people,
not for you.
Yeah, he's just like, he's like comic to comic, man to man. He's like, I just want to apologize, man.
Yeah.
He's like, and you got my number. If you ever did need help with anything, you got my number now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool as fuck.
You gonna take him up on that? See if he's about it?
I'll probably wait till I'm like in a really tough jam.
Yeah.
Murder trial. I'm like, yo, about that time. Yeah, he was cool. It's that Steve Trevino guy. I'm starting to think he's the bad guy in all this.